all the stresses pretty much. Like when you play a sport, it shouldn't be too stressful based on you all have a common goal. So if you all work hard for that common goal, then it should come naturally. And sure, like you win or lose at times, but as long as everyone's like attitudes and mindsets are the same, then it shouldn't be any stresses in that way. And with that mentality, my team actually became really successful, and we got promoted in our conference based on like having similar goals and similar attitudes and same expectations and everything.
So and again, in this European soccer system, it's a little bit different. I mean, as advanced as soccer is in the States compared to most other sports, you go European, am I wrong to say it's even more advanced than?
Yeah.
Right. So you can move up in leagues. You are not stuck at some level.
No, you're not. Not at all.
So that's a pretty amazing opportunity to know that. For instance, we'll just look at Division 1, 2, and 3 in collegiate level. That if a Division 3 team was that good, to say, you know what, you can actually play these teams. The school is where it is, but this is how you're playing. You deserve to play up. That's a pretty amazing opportunity, I guess, to have that control of your own destiny.
Yeah, exactly. It's really nice.
Well, let me ask, you mentioned a couple things before. You said to me, bad doesn't equal impossible. And you talked about, I said, well, what is it you want to do? Why should we even record this show? And it was, well, I want to see change beyond equality and acceptance, not just that. So let's talk about what would you like? Give us your wish list. What is it that you want to see happening, either in sports or outside of sports? Using sport as that vehicle.
I
realize that's a big question for 22, but
no, it's fine.
But come on, let's go for it.
I do believe in like equality in everything. Like again, like I mentioned, it shouldn't be like whoever has the money for it gets it. It's more like I do think hard work pays off, and I want to see a change, like not just in sports, but in just society of just pure equality. Like I don't know, equal payment for women in almost everything. I don't think that being a certain sex should give you the right to more money. I don't think because of the color of your skin you should get priorities over others. Like it's just in that culture, like we're past all that. That's what history is. History is kind of a learning experience. You read about it and you make sure it never happens again if it's in the wrong ways. And so with that's why I really love what my club is trying to do now. Like we're in the process of just being the first club to be equal all over, as in like equal payment between men's and women's and players, and they're working hard to be more international, because it shouldn't just be like only the Danish players can play here or whatever. It should be equal. Like if there's someone from a small country, they should have, and they are good, then they should have that opportunity to play for a really good club, either whether you're a woman or a man. And with all of that, I think it's based on just like organizations, like there's more money in men's sports, and I don't think that should be the case. Like there needs to be a way to kind of broaden the equality between both, because it's the same sport, but you're watching it from two different, I guess, well, like sexes, yeah, but we play it differently in a way, but also similar. Like men and women still have the same passions and the same like drive for the sport. So what's the difference between watching men's and women's? And everyone's argument is, well, men is faster, men is stronger, men is whatever, but that shouldn't be the case, because women are still strong, they are still fast, and they're still competitive like men. So that's not a good enough argument. And I think a lot of people belittle someone based on their sex. Like if they're a woman, they belittle them, And I don't think that should be a part of our society in general. And I think with a lot of things going on in our world that the process is there. Like, we are going forward, but it's just going to take a while because most people or most cultures aren't open-minded in that, you know? Like, some countries still don't give women rights to do much. And I think if we're an inspiration, not just as separate countries, but I think the world should come together to inspire, like, conjoining, like, equal rights and equal opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say you talk about the equal pay, and they'll say, well, it's the revenues. Well, revenues come from promotions, and promotions are intentional. I mean, that's who do you want to promote? That's where it comes from. So the She Is movement that's starting, they're going to be on the show over summer. In fact, the new podcast series is going to be specifically for women's issues, and I'm going to be double posting this episode on there as well so people can hear. But their big goal here is to say, hey, TV rights and revenues, which has always been the excuse for how Title IX money gets distributed appropriately and evenly, and how the World Cup games and professional games get the proper revenues, that when, in particular in soccer, is the case is when the World Cup, when the women are playing in the World Cup, people watch, and it's a draw, and then they just stop showing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all there is to it. They just decide that that's not where it is. And in a lot of other, I know, within, again, a lower spectator sport like lacrosse, the men's games will get coverage. The women will have to almost pay for coverage to be shown.
Exactly.
When those two games are so different, they're actually not comparable. Like, there are a lot of girls at my daughter's class will say, no, they like watching the guys' game because it's different and entertaining. And then there are all of us dads say, actually, we prefer to watch the women's game because it's fast with a finesse type thing, and it is physical. And so you'll hear all those things. So it's nice to see that is really beginning to change, and that was one of the reasons that I liked your story so much, is because you have a good reason to be pessimistic and bitter, if you like, but you're not, and that's why I think this was just a great way to be wrapping up here with things, was, you know, your vision of things and reminding us that these are not the old days. There's still a long way to go, but the fact that we can talk about it, the fact that there is it's not accepted. It happens. You know, there's still plenty of discrimination and poor treatment going on, and some people don't know what to do about it. But it is no longer. You know, yes, that's just the way it is. Certain classes are. In fact, I've got a friend. She's got the full trifecta. That she is a gay woman of color. It says, I got it in sports. She's like, you want to hear about things being stacked against you? He's like, there it is. And so it's something that it's not fun to talk about because no one likes to see injustices that they don't know how to address. Because the regulations are there, okay? There's no new rules we need to make. They're all in place. It's really, just like you say, it's that tolerance, and I'm really glad that you were able to find that community. Unfortunately, it was across the ocean, but it sounds like it's one way for you to kind of bring that back to this side here, again, through discussions like this, for especially a lot of young women to realize that, there's always barriers, but as you said, bad doesn't make it impossible. And that's just what I'm just staring at that little quote on my screen from one of our chats a while back, that that's what I want my daughters to realize. Okay, this is bad, but it's not impossible. Even if we lose, it being life, it's not impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, Nicole, I want to definitely give the guy who made this connection between you and I, Brian. What's Brian's full name? Let people know who he is.
Brian Chambers is the name.
Yep.
And he's located in England, Plymouth to be exactly.
And you can find him on LinkedIn. And I'm bringing this up now
Yeah.
because he has sent me so much information on Nicole saying, no, you've really got to see this girl, knowing that my kids don't play soccer. Okay, I can't do anything for, he's like, no, you have to see what she can do and understand her story. And he and I talked, and it's not just that he's caring, and like I say, you want to call it a business partner and how he partnered with you, but he's the kind of person that he showed me his reports, and he showed me his scouting reports of you.
Yeah.
I could picture you playing and the type of person you were from the way he did it, and I think that's just something that was something you clearly, I mean, everyone deserves it, but I think that was something that was lined up for you as a way to get through this, because you don't reduce people to numbers, as many scouts do. And he described you and sent the video of how you play and talked about all the details, and I feel like I know so much about soccer just because of your video and him.
Yeah.
But I think that that's just a great thing here, is that people reaching out to me. I'm just sitting here with a podcast, and somebody in England says, you need to hear about this woman in Denmark from California. There's no connections anywhere, but yet the story, there were a lot of connections. So, Nicole, I want to thank you again. It took us a while to get this done with the time change and some other things like that, but I'm so glad we did, and I'm definitely going to be posting this not only on the Making the Play series, but I'm also going to include this on the Leveling the Field podcast show, because I think this is what people, they need to see this side of sports. That it's a good side, but there's a difficult side that we're getting through.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Good. Well, again, thank you so much, and I hope to have you on future episodes. We have some groups getting into some topics, but it was fantastic talking to you, and good luck getting back to Denmark. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Nicole.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Down a dirty road, started out all alone. I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. So it started out for God knows where. I guess I'll know when I get there.